stick around and you'll see if I'm either on the road or in the hotel. What big and small trucking in Osceola, and I had the annual inspection done. It needed a new brake on one side. I don't remember which side he said. They changed out that harness, so we officially have heat blowing out of the registers or the vent, so that's awesome. We're legal to drive. I emailed compliance, but it was like right at 5 o'clock office time or Eastern time out there. So I still don't have access to the load board, but I'm going to start heading up actually tonight, right after I rock Miles to sleep, and then go get my oil changed. Probably just change out the fuel filters again to be on the safe side, and then figure out what we're going to do for a load. I don't know what's on the board because I can't see it. Okay, so it's the next morning right now. I'm actually in Urbandale at the Pilot, and last night went up, got my oil change, which took forever, but it is what it is. And right as I should have recorded, but right as I rolled out, the truck just dies down. So I'm like, they're all, and it was, you know, the night crew is really a bunch of younger kids and like the older foreman. So I kind of walked back in there, they're looking at me, and I'm like, any reason why this would have died on me as I was rolling out of the bay? And the old guy was like, you guys did it, go figure it out. And I was kind of like, fuck, are you kidding me? I assumed it was a fuel issue, and so they're trying to figure it out. That's what it was. The old guy sprayed some ether in there, and he had said that it, you know, just air locked up, let it idle at 1500 RPMs for a little bit, take off. And sure enough, that's what it was.
A few moments later.
Woo! We have access, baby! No Colorado runs, no Texas runs right now. There's like an Iowa, there's several, but there's an Iowa run, a West Fargo, a Billings, ones where I'm like, the Iowa one, and there's a Minnesota one. Too short to do for what I want to bring in on a weekly basis. The other one, like the Billings one, when I went there, it was fine. I don't know if I want to screw around with that kind of weather, riding up on whatever that interstate is up there. But yeah, so I'm just gonna actually keep driving. I am at Brooklyn right now, getting ready to fuel up, and we'll see what happens, all right? Stay tuned. Just got done fueling up, and because it's like negative 100 degrees out, I went ahead and added another, I bought House, or whatever it's called, anti-gel additive, because the power service at Walmart in my hometown, they were all out of it. But so this was the however many ounces for 320 gallons. Well, I dumped an entire bottle of that into my tanks yesterday or the day before, with it being at about a half a tank, knowing I would fuel up and that would be good for this stretch of my trip. But because it's just so freaking cold, I went ahead and added another one that treats up to 320 some gallons or 360 or whatever it is, because I don't want to freaking gel up on the side of the road and be miserable waiting to get thawed out or have a roadside mechanic come. So don't be afraid to overuse some anti-gel in these extreme cold temps, because I guarantee you, if you're being smart buying it at Walmart, or even if you're not, you're buying it at a truck stop, it's way cheaper than having somebody come out, change your fuel filters, yada yada, and then hope that it starts back up and you're on your way. So yeah, that's it. Let's see what load I get. I love that this motherfucker is just trying to speed his ass away right now. See what we got on the old license plate, because it's dirty and I don't know if it'll get picked up on the camera. 60, maybe 430. Well, first hit and run. We'll see. Hopefully we'll see what kind of damage is done, but hopefully it's just the mirror, which is fucking cockeyed right now. And it was funny, as I started to slow down off his tail after I recorded his license plate and the company he's running for, and I guess probably his VIN number maybe, he slows down as well. Otherwise, I was like pushing 75, a little bit more, trying to catch up to him. Takes off. There's no way you would miss that smack sound. So, yeah, let's see what the just happened. So yeah, that looks to be the extent of it, thankfully. But still, like, have the common courtesy to pull over and to make sure there's no major issues. Let's continue driving. All right, we got a load. We're headed to Billings, Montana, which gives us a little more, gives us like an Austin, Texas distance. I don't really want to go all the way up there. I was looking at the weather, the temperatures, it's like negatives. Although in Billings on Friday when I'll drop, pending no issues, knock on wood, it says it'll be sunny and 40, so that'll be nice. But it'll be 2 full days of driving. And I had just booked this. I mean, I was all over that thing, pulling over every exit, just scrolling, looking, refreshing. No Colorados, no Texases, which, again, they typically come up on the board at the end of the week. But when I booked it, I was only 2.5 hours away. I'm in Michigan City right now. I'm going to stop in Walmart, get some food, some supplies, and then hit up an Anytime Fitness, which is just right down the street from here. Get a quick little workout in, just to help give them some time to stage it. Matt had called. I, just kind of asked, hey, how quick could that be done? He's like, I'll try to make sure that they get it done right away. It's like, all right, cool. I was just planning on pulling over, going and working out, just to buy some time. Not to mention, I still need to get the circuit, a new circuit for my winch, or I'm going to be trying to push the unit up. So I'm going to stop at a Harbor Freight, maybe call Ace Hardware in Middlebury. We'll see how that goes as well. Not sure what this noise is. But I sent this video to Fairwinds and the High Mileage Helper and said, any clue on what this weird noise is? They both seem to think that it is something on the belt, some pulley. I'm in Michigan City, just got done working out, went to Harbor Freight, and was in the process of getting essentially 3 50-amp circuits and then configuring them together like it is on the winch. Napa has them, but Harbor Freight didn't actually sell the individual circuit breakers or the unit itself. So I'm gonna wait to hear back from them and see what I should do. Probably shouldn't be running the truck right now, but I mean, everything looks normal as of right now. We'll see. All right, so I stopped at Advanced Auto Parts to see if they had the circuit breakers. They don't. Casey called me, told me to spray some belt conditioner, put some lube on the belt, and hope it fucking stops squeaking. If not, I think I'll find a shop around here to figure out which pulley it is and not risk driving to Elkhart. So, hang on. All right, Casey for the win, for the save. What I'm gonna do is drive over to a hotel over here, and I had noticed right next to Walmart it said indoor pool, and I was kind of like, that does sound kind of nice. So I'm gonna head over to that hotel, and it's like 45 or 50 bucks a night. Their pool is probably closed due to COVID something, but I'm gonna head over there. Casey we FaceTimed, walked me through on which pulley is the tensioner pulley. So I'm gonna take the belt off. I'm gonna, play around with the pulley, see which ones don't spin smoothly or freely. And a guy from Rapid Diesel Repair, maybe, I'll put a screenshot right here, is transitioning from an old shop to a new shop. He gets into the new shop on Friday. They're only doing kind of mobile mechanic stuff right now. And so as we were talking before I had called Casey back, he was like, yeah, you could, if you meet me over here, we could work something out, because his mobile prices were $125 an hour, minimum 2 hours. And he's like, we could figure something out price-wise, or cost-wise. So after talking with Casey, I called him back and I was like, hey, I'm gonna creep over to this hotel and take the belt off and just start to try to see if I can figure out which pulleys it is. I've never messed with the belt on here or anything, but my friend had said I can surely find out which ones are bad. And I was just like, would that be something? Would you be willing to, meet me at the hotel when you get done with your call? He had 2 calls that he was on right now. He's like, yeah, I just finished one. You're heading over to I forget what it was, do something with another customer. I was like, well, would you be up for that? And, hopefully by the time you get here, I already know which ones they are, and we go from there, and you change them. And he's like, yeah, definitely, we can do that. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna book it through Expedia. I don't know if you know, but typically it's always cheaper through Expedia, unless you're in Elkhart getting, the transporter discount. Okay, so anyways, let's hit the road. We got a mile to go. Hopefully there's no issues. Okay, so we made it. Whew. Thankfully. Not so sure of the quality of this old Ramada. I saw a little tricycle outside, a little beat up car, a little something. Can't see it all the way down there, but it's as if, like someone's living there. Which, I mean, hey, whatever. But yeah, so we're here. And I think I am going to I'm going to actually back up a little bit. I'm going to turn the truck off then. I always hate doing this, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to check out and go check in somewhere else. You got a nice little spider there, which is fine. This is fucking janky. And some wife beater I got left behind. Nice little fingernail. Some other gross shit. Yeah, I'm not too picky, but I'd like to be able to have a nice night's sleep, a warm, hot shower without worrying about if I'm getting bed bugs or if there's even hot water. Okay, let's go. I guess we gotta hope the truck will start back up with no issues. I'm gonna go to the Micro Motel or something. It's right across the street from Walmart. It's the one I was talking about. This was cheaper. And it had said the Ramada, so I think the Ramada is a nice place. So, yeah, not so much. I'm gonna drive up here, give them my keys, apologize that I'm not gonna be able to stay here, and get the fuck out of here before something comes crawling up my leg. Hold the phone. My truck just died as I was just pulling up the map to see if I could get around through there to just basically hop over the street. Maybe I'll end up staying here reluctantly or not. I'm still, luckily, in parking lanes, but yeah, I don't know why it just kind of subtly died. No clunking, no issues. So there's the tensioner. Is that fucking loose? Oh, so they put a new cap on there. But no, that's not full or anything. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna try to start it up one more time, for better or for worse. I guess we're staying here. Isn't that some shit? All right, whatever. Let's get to work. Next morning, no block heater. It's like 9 degrees or something. I can't imagine that it's gonna start up for me. I wish I would have hit the record button when I was going to start it. It almost turned over, but it didn't. So yeah, we'll see what what the day brings. All right, so went to the front desk, asked if they had an extension cord. Luckily they did, because I have an extension cord I used for my generator, but it has 3 outlets on the end of it. So I'm gonna run this from the generator to the block heater, let it run for a few hours, and then come back out and see what happens.
A few moments later.
I'm not quite sure it's reading right, but my fuel temperature, yeah, 158 degrees, hell yeah, baby. Intake manifold temperature, 32, engine oil temperature, 4 degrees. You hear that? Got it running. A few times of attempting this, and I was spraying, as I believe the maintenance guy here had helped me try to turn the key, but it took about 3 times before it turned over. Let it warm up for probably a good half hour, put it at high idle, get those temps up, and then going to, I think, LaPorte or something, where 24-hour truck repair, something. But you can hear it. That groggly, squealing, squelching sound. But it started. I'm going to return the extension cord and then we're gonna hit the road and hopefully make it 9 miles. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just actually back up and then drive forward, back up, drive forward, just like a weirdo in the parking lot, just to ensure it doesn't die on me, because it did die on me last night for whatever reason. That was before the mechanic came. But yeah, I was talking to the high mileage helper about it, and you know, we couldn't come to any conclusions on why it had died. I had turned it off, went in, checked it and stuff, and then started it back up and decided but you saw it when I was gonna leave. But yeah, I don't, maybe something wasn't warmed up enough, although it had been running. Who knows? Wish me luck. Say some kind words. Give me a prayer as we embark on this, what will seem like a never-ending 11-mile journey to get the old girl fixed. All right, day 2 or night 2 in a hotel. This is definitely a little nicer than last night. So word on the street is it's the fan clutch assembly or hub or whatever at the tune of about $3,000. So is what it is. That's why you have a maintenance account. That's also why said person that emphasizes having a maintenance account doesn't use said funds to purchase some land. So, so yeah, I still have enough in my maintenance account to cover this expense to where it's not coming out of pocket, and I'd have ample more outside of just paying for this expense, but I dipped into it and used it to purchase the land that we bought, and then I haven't always been adding maintenance funds on each trip just to try to get the rental done with, you know, various shit that you need to buy to fix up a house. So yeah, that's where we are. We'll know more tomorrow. It's questionable if they're going to be able to get the, I don't know if it's the fan assembly or whatever, if they'll be able to get that tomorrow. They may have missed the deadline, or it would be the, I don't know what's called, like the little dome that goes on your fuel water separator. So my truck had died on me, and as they were like, when I first got there, like, so what'd you bring it in for? Went out there and I was starting it. One of the shop guy was spraying some ether in it, and the shop manager was just kind of overlooking at the fuel filter area, and they had just noticed, oh, there's a bunch of little cracks. I'll try to grab a picture of it if it's still there tomorrow when I go back. But they wanted to replace the entire assembly, but that was about $800 to replace all of that. So I was like, is there any way we just do the dome itself, and then, you know, a filter or whatever? But really you wouldn't need a new filter, but I think you put a new filter on there, whatever. But yeah, that's where we're at. We'll know more. If they can't get it in, I'm gonna really try to press to just rebuild the fan clutch hub whatever assembly, because when I called Freightliner in Altoona, the one that I always use, he had mentioned fan clutch Hoover or Hudson or something. A new one was $1,200. They have it priced at $1,700. But then the guy at Altoona had said, we also have a rebuild kit. And then I was like, well, what's that? And he kind of explained something about metal pieces and this and that. That was $500. So when I was talking to the shop manager, he was like, you know, this is just us trying to get you in and out so you're on the road tomorrow. You know, if they're not able to get it because of missing the deadline, they're calling some Freightliner in Illinois to try to see if they can get it. Then he's like, you know, we'll look at other options as well. Maybe there's some aftermarket pieces that we can get, because he's like, ultimately it would be Monday when we work on it. So stick around and you'll see if I'm either on the road or in the hotel. Until then. Okay, so it's next morning. We are waiting to hear back from the shop. They have the dome for the fuel filter thing, which was causing the truck to just kind of randomly die, so they could hear it sucking air through that the fuel water separator dome. So replacing that, he was gonna put a new filter in. He's like, the filter's not here yet. I was like, well, that filter's, maybe 300 to 500 miles old. Like, wouldn't it make sense to just reuse that? Well, we don't normally do that. It's just, like, well, I mean, I'm just saying, because it's literally brand new. Fine, we'll do that. I don't understand why his panties are all in a bundle. But then some new information was when he called me. I called him this morning. He said he'd be in at 7:30. So I gave him a few minutes, so to speak, and called him around 8. I just asked him if there's any update. He said the guy that orders parts didn't leave a sticky note or shoot him a text last night, but he'd be in at 8:30 or so. He's like, but I did talk to the service manager, and he said it could be rebuilt, and Freightliner in South Bend has that kit in stock. So I was like, okay, great. So is that a route? Is that an option that we can take? And ultimately, he's like, well, let's see what Joe, I don't know Joe's name, came up with last night with if the whole assembly got ordered or not. I'm like, okay, makes sense. If it is ordered and this one is still on the table, do we have an option of which one to go with? And ultimately, he was kind of like, yeah, I'll let you know. Just we're trying to get you in and out. Yada yada. Just real high strung, maybe. And I'm sure that job requires some of that, But when we talk again, he's like, you got a tracking number for it. It should be here by 10:30. We'll have you out the door today. And I'm like, okay, so that's with that whole new assembly, which, mind you, that's a $1,700 part. There's going to be 4 hours worth of labor that they have to tear everything down and put it back, regardless of the part. So when I called Freightliner in Altoona, it was $1,200 for the part they're talking about. I think maybe it's a little different or something, but it was only $500 for the rebuild kit. So let's say you got an extra hour rebuilding that. Well, 500, they're 150, so we're at 650 instead of 1,700. So, well, I'd have to charge you a restocking, and we'd have to go all the way up to South Bend, which is like 30 minutes away. So even at that, let's add an extra $200 to $300 onto it for the restocking. Let's add another $100 of time or whatever for them going to get it. Still probably going to come out $500 to $700 less on a worst case scenario, unless they really take me over. Going with the rebuild avenue, for whatever reason, he's annoyed that I'd rather not spend $3,000 instead of, $2,000 to $2,500. Okay, whatever. I'll keep you in the loop. Woo! That's what I'm talking about, baby. Got it down. My second cup of coffee is kicking in, and I get some good news. Got it down. Mind you, initial one was $4,000. Got it down to $3,000. Now down to $2,300. We're rebuilding it. He was a lot less irritated on the phone this time, and then I just extended gratitude in the sense of like, dude, this is a huge help. Like that $700. Just over $700 difference. Like, that's huge. That's money that stays in my maintenance accounts for if any issues come up within the next few weeks as I recoup what I'm paying out right now for this repair. So as far as I know, it's still done today. Because he was like, you want us to pick you up at checkout time there, or because we got to run to Kingsville or something in South Bend now. And I think they're like a man short in the shop from what I overheard yesterday, at least for today. And I was like, dude, checkout's at noon here, but I can fend for myself. I can find a way there when I need to be there. If picking me up slows you guys down, don't worry about it. Let me know. Doesn't matter. So Whew. Yeah, that's a lot better. And, you know, one of the things that Daniel had said in our group chat with Daniel, Casey, and myself was, you know, don't let, not that shop in particular, but, about fell over, but don't, you know, don't let the shop, as a lot of shops will try to bend you over and rebuild everything. And yeah, I bet that is a lot of worries, a lot of worrisome thoughts that people have, myself included, you know, because like, unless you're mechanically savvy, you don't entirely know and you trust. And nothing that they were doing was not needed. Doing the replacing the fuel water separator probably needs done. Like, that's probably original to the truck. And, you know, there was some debris coming up. Every time I replace that filter, you know, I always spray down in there, spray up the little drain valve. Like, I try to clean it out with parts cleaner, brake cleaner, just to help that out. But took that off, knocked that off, you know, $700 and some. The fuel filter, knocked that off. I don't care what they say. Like, unless they fucking toss the fuel filter on some dirty tray and then put it back in, set it up on top of the fender well, have it sit there, change it out. Well, shit, actually, you don't even have to take the fucking filter off. You leave the filter on, you take the dome off, you put the new dome back on, you're like, what the hell? You know, but anyways, they're replacing the belt, which the belt, it has some black marks on the smooth side. Like, you can tell it, you know, it's heated up a little bit. Replacing that, probably better safe than sorry on that. On the inside, there was no kind of degrading of the belt, but from there, you know, then you get to the fan clutch. Well, for them, it is easier to just go with the new assembly. And as time had passed between this last phone call and the prior, you know, that's kind of what I was saying. Like, dude, I get it. Like, to you, your pocketbook is not being affected by this. You want to get it in and out, which is great, like great customer service, get it done. But I think you could take it another level and be like, hey, let's find you the best option. It's going to be a pain for us, but that's not your burden to worry about. This is what I would do if, you know, you came into the gym and we were talking about whatever you needed help with. Is, you know, going the extra mile. Like, why is that so fucking hard for people to do outright without being prodded to do so? Like, do you want to spend an extra $700-ish if you had to, or would you find, you know, the best route to give you the desired results you want? So anyways, that's where we're at. I don't know when I will be on the road, but I'm pretty sure I'll be on the road today. What? And then it's just fingers crossed. That is the only issue. All right.